And you're back with us here on Lowcountry Money Talk. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and Phil Bloyd is still with us, of course, because we have lots more to talk about. He's with Revolutionary Financial Group. And boy, making some really good points about 2021. Sure. Thank you for joining us. We have another half a show to go.
I enjoy it. Boy, it's going so fast.
It is. You know what? This is fascinating, though, and I'm guessing our viewers are finding it so, too, because we had such an interesting year. A lot of people feeling really good about how the last year and plus has gone. Mm-hmm. And there's still a lot of uncertainty about what's to come. Yeah. And so we're really going to talk a little bit about that. Not only uncertainty, personally, but even predictors are really, we're seeing varied conversations.
Big varies, big difference, big swings. Yeah. One thing I'll point out, just to keep things up to date, I looked at the Wall Street Journal this morning. Before the jobs number was released. The jobs number was released this morning at 8:30, and I was reading topics. It said, stock futures tick up as they expect big job numbers. The president's already scheduled a press conference, so obviously he's expecting big numbers. So Wall Street was expecting about 400,000 new jobs created, and what do you think we got?
Well, based on the way you're talking to me, I'm going to say not 400,000.
Less than half. So we got 199,000. The market started ticking down. Those futures erased right away. So my point in that, Jessa, is that these experts in Wall Street and finance, they're still getting things wrong as far as the predictions. Now, the unemployment rate ticked down to 3.9, but our labor participation is only 61%. Right. So there's 39% of the people out there that should be working that aren't. So once they start removing those people off the unemployment rolls, the unemployment number goes down, but it's very deceiving.
Mm-hmm. This brings up a question that I have, which is how typical is this inaccuracy? I mean, the predictions are so far off, and is that just a sign of, everything that we've gone through over the last couple of years, or is it relatively usual?
Jessa, there's been a lot of things that have been done that have never been done before. So if you look at how the Federal Reserve has played into this a lot of people believe they missed the inflation. Mm. We've been talking about that on this show. Yeah. So they talk about this term transitory. That's not a word we're really familiar with very often. And then they said don't use that word anymore, meaning that they kind of missed the boat on it, but they're reluctant to say they were wrong. But the other thing that the Fed has done for the first time is normally when they want to stimulate, they buy into U.S. Treasuries and Treasury bonds. And this time they've actually bought into corporate bonds and corporate bond ETFs. They've never done that before. Mm-hmm. So as you're listening to the news, they're talking about raising interest rates. They've already agreed to 3 times. Many people believe it'll probably be more like 4. A lot of people are thinking maybe it's going to be 0.25% each time or 25 basis points. So if they spike it with 0.5% at one time, the market's not looking for that. So a lot of our good stock market that we've had over the last few years is because those interest rates have been really low.
Yes.
And people need somewhere to invest their money to get a return.
That's the truth.
So if we look at that going away potential, and the Federal Reserve has been wrong so much with inflation and other things, they're going to have to start not only tapering how much in bonds they're buying, but they're going to have to start selling those. If they don't, then our inflation is going to skyrocket.
Right. Wow. And that's what everyone's fearful of, too. And when there is so much uncertainty, obviously we've talked before on this show about making sure your portfolio is diversified, but that could have some different implications right now based on what companies are doing well, because there's just a handful of them that are taking up a big portion of those gains.
I think, as we get into our next segment, that's a good place we should start, is saying, what sectors do we see in 2022? No one has the crystal ball, of course, but what sectors do we see that may be moving up and just makes sense because of the kind of market that we're in?
Oh, that's an excellent teaser. You'll have to stick around for that one. We're going to do that next. Thank you so much. Phil Bloyd and I are here on Lowcountry Money Talk. Stay tuned.